Welcome to Stadium Bets, everybody, here on Stadium. Another week, some more betting. Boys, this is a time of mourning a little bit. It's the last time for some fun college football bets. One of the last times.
Yeah, it is, but
Sad.
I feel like it was kind of a
smile. This
tough,
is
weird
sad.
year, but no, the best is yet to come. Conference championship weekend is always great, especially this year. I think there could be some really fun scenarios if certain, teams win and lose on Saturday. And then we have hopefully a really good college football semifinal in about a month. And if we get the games and the teams we want to win, we could be previewing some really fun games for 4 weeks on this show, starting next week, where we'll take an early look and maybe just give everyone updates before a final preview of these games between Christmas and New Year's.
I love it. He's Colby, he's Nate, I'm Ben, and Monty is running the sticks as the producer, director extraordinaire. Should we start? You ready?
Yep, been waiting.
Georgia, Alabama. Let's start with the SEC championship right off the top. We have Georgia at -5.5 as a favorite. Get them at 6 at some places as well. Kind of depends what number you're looking for. Total is 53.5. Colby, we'll start with you.
Hello.
What are you liking about this game? What do you pick?
Well, boys, this is a game where if you win, you're in.
Yeah. Okay.
Nate disagrees. Some other people disagree, but we're riding with
There's a lot of
Alabama,
people that
and I think if
disagree.
Alabama takes it in this one, they're in the playoffs. And I think this is the perfect game for Georgia to lose because they have been terrible against the spread all season long. They're 8-4, which means they're playing under expectations while already having a weak schedule. And I think this is the perfect team to upset them. Alabama has been tremendous ever since their loss to Texas. They have been up and up and up and up. And also, there's not many people you can't bet against, and Nick Saban is one of them. Give me the Crimson Tide, please.
Ooh. All right, Nate. What do you like?
Yeah, so I do agree with Colby in terms of liking Alabama in this game. Also, Georgia 4-8 against the spread, which I know isn't great, but it's been better lately, so they are trending in the right direction. Although they had a non-cover against Georgia Tech last week. But it's a really similar setup to 2 years ago. Alabama coming off a miracle Iron Bowl win at Auburn. No one really wants them. Everyone's like, okay, this Bama team has no shot against this undefeated Georgia team. And Alabama went on and won that game with Bryce Young leading the way. Both teams got in the playoff in that scenario. It's a little bit different now. The stakes are higher because Georgia isn't in the playoff yet. They need to win, I think, to make it. They could lose and some other scenarios play out, but they're going to be fully motivated to win this game, and I'm not sure if they were 2 years ago. I think there was kind of a knowledge that they don't have to maybe play their best in this game, knowing that they had a spot in the playoff. But I think last week that scare against Auburn provides enough line value on Alabama. If you can get +6, like that a lot. Right now, 5.5. Let's see where it goes throughout the week. But I will be on Alabama in this game in some way. I just think that you give Nick Saban underdog role against a coach and Kirby Smart he's familiar with this much at stake. I'll take the underdog in a game like this. Even though Georgia is very good at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They went 3-0 last year, beating Oregon, Ohio State, and then beating LSU in the SEC title game a year ago. So it's hard to go against Georgia, but I think this is a spot to fade the dogs.
That familiarity aspect to me is the most important. I mean, Nick Saban knows how to play usually his former coaches, how to play against them, and how to game plan for them. So to me, that's why I'm taking Bama +5.5. I'd love to take Bama to 6. I'd be interested to see, we're recording on a Wednesday, if that line moves in Georgia's favor the closer we get to Saturday. And if it does, I'll happily pounce on 6, 6.5, whatever it may be.
Team ride.
Absolutely. We're all riding Alabama. That has never gone wrong for us in the past.
Also, I just want to say, if Alabama wins this game, but also Texas wins earlier in the day and Florida State wins at night, I don't think anyone from the SEC will make the playoff. I firmly believe that. Texas beat Alabama by 10 in Tuscaloosa, and I really don't think you can leave out a 13-0 ACC winner, Power Conference winner, who beat LSU this year in week 1. So
does that mean anything?
It means a lot. It should matter who you play. That's all I'm going to say. We'll see how it plays out.
It was not even 11 a.m. in the office this morning, and we were arguing college football playoff scenarios with like 5 or 6 people. It was exciting. It's fun is what it was.
Guys.
It woke you up.
It will be a very interesting Sunday morning if Alabama pulls out the outright upset. Let's say that.
I'll go with Alabama +5.5, like my +6. Again, I think Nick Saban, this is a game that this team has been preparing for all season long. And a game against Auburn, I know it's the Iron Bowl, and we talked about how important the rivalry is between those two teams, but you'd have to imagine Alabama's not showing everything that they can do against a pretty bad Auburn team who they expected to possibly blow out, and I think it caught them by surprise that they had to win at the end of the game in the last-second touchdown. But I think this Bama team is built and prepared for a team like Georgia. So at the very least, I think it should be close. I'm going to have more on that game in just a bit. But let's go to the Iowa and Michigan game. We'll go to the Big Ten championship. We will bring in the producer, director extraordinaire, all-around Iowa guy, Michael Montgomery.
Do it.
Monty, Iowa's bet of the week. You're up units.
We are.
Positive territory.
We've done it.
Look at you.
It only took 12 weeks, but we're
It's
here.
fine. Long-term play.
Exactly. So, first half team total over half a point.
Yes.
What,
He's doing it.
It's just crazy. Like,
He's
all
doing
they
it,
have
folks.
to do is score. Give me a field goal. Give me a safety.
Fumble recovery touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I love that from a bet.
They're playing Michigan. They're not playing Minnesota. They're not playing Illinois. They're not playing Northwestern. They're not playing Nebraska. So you don't think the team that's carrying the flag for the conference, and you're just gonna dismiss them?
I love it.
Have you seen
Yeah,
Iowa's punter?
From a Big Ten guy like you,
You're
Monty?
dismissing the team that's carrying the other side of the conference.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Look at that
Sir?
confidence right there.
Yeah, the worst division I've ever seen.
All right, so why do you like Iowa?
I have no response for that. I don't know. I have to pick a bet. I'm not very confident, and just give me a point, right? In the first half, the last few weeks they've been this team where the offense has looked okay in the first half, and then in the third quarter they'll have like 7 yards of total offense. So I'm not touching the second half. I think maybe they can keep it close in the first half. I thought about Iowa plus 13.5 because 2 years ago the 2021 game was 14-3 at halftime before it ended 42-3.
Oof.
So I think if you're doing anything Iowa, it's got to be first half.
They're going to stick to the script.
Yeah, you
first
get the
couple
first
drives.
drive scripted. Hopefully we get a field goal out of it, and then we cash our bet and we go to 8-5. So
And it's an indoor game, so maybe the kicking range for your kicker will be a little bit longer.
Yeah,
Maybe a
Drew,
little bit longer.
Drew Stevens uncharacteristically missed 2 field goals inside 40 yards last week at Nebraska. I
Means he's
think
due.
Oh, they were blocked
He'll get
too,
right.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
That don't
So,
count.
Yeah. Yeah,
just
for
work
sure.
on some things
Yeah.
this week.
LeVar Woods, he'll get the boys
Like a
in
drunk
order.
cigarette, Mike,
We're
don't
gonna
count.
cash this, no doubt.
No, I like it. Listen, if there's a bet to make, this bet was trending yesterday on Twitter, so people are all over either side of this. Might as well go the over, and it makes sense that Monty,
wants
the
no
Iowa fan, is
points?
going to go the over. Yeah, people want a little
That's
bit of
too
points,
short.
but that's a perfect transition because we're going to go into some other college football bets that we all like for this weekend. I'll start us off with that Iowa-Michigan game. I'm going to go Michigan minus 22.5. I'm sorry, Monty, but I think he's giving me the finger.
Got
It's
the
a thumbs
bird.
up. Yeah, it's a big thumbs up finger. I think Michigan, again, is the much better team in this scenario. And I'm fine. I'm fine if they give up a field goal in the first half, Monty. It's all right.
Monty some slack.
I
They're
think
not better.
I think you give up a field goal. I honestly want them to give up a field goal. I want it to be 3-0 Iowa to start this game because Michigan loves to play with that chip on their shoulder. They love to play a little bit down early on, and then they come back and roar back. And the second half is their half. Give me minus 22.5. Michigan can get 30-plus points here. We were talking about this. They can get the game total over by themselves, I think. And I don't know how Iowa scores more than a 9.5, 10 points, something like that. So I like Michigan, minus 22.5. That number actually came down a little bit today, too. On Wednesdays,
Yeah, it
we were
did.
talking from like
Dropped the whole
23 to
point.
22, 21.5 at some places. I like Michigan all the way up to 24.5, to be quite honest. So give me maize and blue. Win it big. Big Ten championship.
All right, let's go off the grid a little bit here. The Mountain West title game between Boise State and UNLV. The game is being played, I believe it is in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
And
Sin City.
Yeah, I like Boise State here. I think that we've had kind of a rejuvenation from their team ever since they fired Andy Avalos, their head coach. Everyone thought, okay, the Boise State's done. You know, it was a great program, but now they're on the downturn. But they come out and they beat Utah State and Air Force the last 2 weeks to get into this game. And I think they just keep going. Spencer Danielson, interim coach, it seems like he's a guy who might win the job or get the full-time gig. He's interviewed for the full-time position. So like Boise State here to cover a short number, only minus 2.5 against UNLV, who's had a great season under first-year head coach Barry Odom, but I don't think they're as good as their record indicates. So give me the Broncos in this game, Mountain West title game Saturday afternoon.
All right, so we went off the grid for that. Are we going even more off the grid
Correct.
with Colby's
Correct.
bet? Oh,
correct.
boy.
This
Okay.
bet
Get
is
the maps out.
sponsored in part by our good friend Nick Wojcik, the Woj.
Here we go.
He
We got to
put
respect
this
the
on our
Woj.
radar last night, and ooh, baby, is it woo finger looking good. Taking the New Mexico State Liberty over. Now in September, They scored 50 points. They had 864 total yards offense and 4 turnovers that kept the game under.
Disgusting.
Liberty and New Mexico are fantastic offensively. According to our dear friend Woj, they're really good at passing and getting chunk yards. We love that, guys, right? We love chunk yards.
That's good.
Because
We
on
love
the
chunk
ground, they're
yards.
just moving the ball, and then a chunk yard. Score. The over is going to soar, just like me this weekend. I'm going to fly into some wins.
I like it. We got 2 pretty off the map bets, and I think that's why people come to Stadium Bets. And we got more bets on the way. NFL, our underdogs, our best bets, as normal every weekend. We'll be right back here on Stadium Bets. Welcome back to Stadium Bets, NFL time. You got Colby, you got Nate, I'm Ben, and Monty hoping for his Iowa over a first half bet to hit.
Go,
We're
Monty.
all looking forward to that. Let's turn the page to the NFL for this Sunday's games. We got a couple games we wanted to highlight, and then we're going to open up the board for some more NFL bets. Let us start with Broncos at the Texans. Texans minus 3.5. Total is at 47. Nate, we'll start with you. The Texans have been the hot topic for the past couple of weeks with C.J. Stroud and company. Which way are you looking?
Yeah, so the Broncos, though, 5 straight wins. I don't love betting teams kind of at the top of their market when people know they're good. And maybe we're selling a little, or I'm buying high on Denver here because of all the turnover luck that they've had. I don't know if it's luck, but they've forced 16 turnovers the last 5 games, so not sure that's sustainable. But getting 3.5 here is too good to pass up. I know this line moved Monday from Texans -3 to -3.5. I'm just not sure if the Texans are that good of a team yet where they need to win by 4 or more points for me to lose this bet. So I'll take a shot at Denver. Not my favorite bet of the week just because the spot isn't great for Denver off 2 big home wins, and now they're going on the road. But getting the hook at 3.5, I'll have to take Denver in this one.
I see that, and I respect it. But I'm going to go to the Texans minus 3.5 because call me an idiot, but I am on the C.J. Stroud train. I bet against the Texans last week, and I won. Thank you. Please, we're not going to clip that.
You're
That's
an idiot.
okay. I think that after this Texans loss, I think they kind of are going to be able to go back to the drawing board and rework some things. The Jaguars are a very good team. It wasn't that bad of a loss for the Texans. I think they come back offensively. I think they can overwhelm the Broncos defense. And the Broncos defense has been good since their winning streak has started. But this is a different Texans team than I think a lot of people have seen since the start of the season. Their offense is 9th in the league over the last 3 games in points per game. I think they'll be able to put a bunch on the Broncos. I'll take them a minus 3.5. Again, not a bet I feel super strong about, but I'm going to pick the Texans in this one. Colby?
Yeah, I feel super strong about this one. We're taking the under. So it opened up at 44. It is climbing, and I'm not going to take it until I feel fully happy at the number. So it's at 47.5, you said? I'm going to wait a little bit.
47.
If it's going up, I'm going to wait. The Broncos defense has been great, as we've been talking about, compared to how they started the season. The under has gone under. The under has gone under in 4 of their last 5 games. Under 48 in 6 straight games. The Texans have gone under in 2 straight games. If the Broncos defense can hold this fiery offense, we're getting the under and cashing.
I like it. And the big game that we're all looking forward to watching, 49ers at the Eagles. Eagles coming off an overtime win against the Buffalo Bills, which definitely factors into how we're handicapping this game because I got a text. We all got a text on Sunday night right after it happened. And it said, Nate goes, I'm betting the 49ers +1 right when it opened. And we're like, we're tailing. And now look at this. We're recording on a Wednesday. 49ers have jumped to a 3-point favorite. 46.5 is the total. Colby, we'll start with you.
Yep.
What do you like?
So I'm taking the money line. I originally got it at minus 102 on Sunday. It's back-to-back weeks of the Eagles getting lucky, and I think this is the perfect game for them to. Monty, you mad at the number? Well, I'm not. I think this is the perfect game.
We have you as -3 though. You gotta stick with it.
Oh, whatever. I'll take the spread. Whatever.
We know you got the money line at a good price.
I'll take the spread.
Right.
I'll happily take the spread because this is the week the Eagles get exposed. They're not as great as they've been coming off the last few weeks on primetime games. This is where they crumble and fall, and this is where the 49ers solidify themselves as the best team in the NFL. If they haven't done it already, this is the game. Sorry, didn't know you guys did that. I apologize.
No, preach. Listen, the 49ers, when fully healthy, is a really good team, if not the best team in the NFL. And you look at the Eagles, and I don't want to get into all the metrics and the nerd numbers and everything like that, but the metrics don't love the Eagles as much as I think the public and the numbers do. Eagles are a slightly above average team for a lot of, DVOA stats and points per game, points per play, everything like that. But you look at San Francisco, they've had the number 1 points per play over the last 3 games. Their offense is absolutely humming, one of the best in the league. Their defense, we know, is outstanding as well. I don't think the Eagles are good enough, especially if Dallas Goedert doesn't play. I love the 49ers in this game. I love it even if he does play, but the 49ers are simply the better team in this matchup. The Eagles have gotten lucky in a lot of their games. 49ers all the way. They're just the more complete, better team, and they don't need to rely on luck to win a lot of their games.
Yeah, I like the 49ers too. Obviously, put a lot of money
Group
on them
ride.
Sunday.
Group ride again.
One of the reasons I like the Niners here is the Eagles' defense was on the field for 92 plays against the Bills. You think about the week before, short week Monday night against the Chiefs, and you think about kind of like the big plays in that game, the MVS drop for the Chiefs. You have Allen missing Gabe Davis in the end zone in overtime, and those 2 plays flip, and the Eagles are now 8-3, and I think this price would be more justified. So, as you said, Eagles have been very fortunate this year.
Lucky.
Numbers aren't great. The advanced stats not great. And the Niners, I mean, it's their game of the season. They've had this circled since the schedule makers dropped it in May. They lost in the NFC title game. Brock Purdy tore his UCL on their first possession. They've had extra time to prepare because they played Thanksgiving night against the Seahawks. So situationally and just everything else, everything points to the 49ers. If this was -2.5, 49ers would be the best bet of the week for me. At -3, I wouldn't lay it right now. I'd see if you can get, -2.5.
Yeah, I'm sure the public will come after
Maybe
this number.
guys like,
Public
Yeah.
loves Jalen Hurts.
I think like maybe if Lane Johnson is the right tackle who was a late scratch against the Bills is in, maybe we get under a field goal and you can bet the Niners comfortably.
Let's open up the board. We got some other bets in the NFL that we wanted to get to this week. We're going to go right back to you, Nate. What do you like?
Yeah, I like the Cleveland Browns, and I've used the Browns in
I
this
love 'em.
section 4 times this year, or 3 times this year.
Number
3-0.
1 Browns fan over here. Nate
Week 1
Jacobson.
against the Bengals, easy win. Week 3 against the Titans, absolutely easy win.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, went to war with DTR, and they won. It was ugly, but they won.
You're the Browns whisperer. You know when to bet 'em.
Browns
Let's go with the
whisperer.
Browns. They might be starting Joe Flacco. I actually
Yes.
hope they're starting Joe Flacco, not PJ Walker. If they're starting
Yeah.
PJ Walker, don't bet this. But Browns plus 3.5. Looks like Myles Garrett's okay after it sounded like a kind of a bad injury or early injury news after the injury he sustained in Denver last week. But I just don't think the Rams should be laying over a field goal at home when there's going to be way more Browns fans in the building. And I don't know, the Rams, they beat the Cardinals last week, but I don't think too much of the Cardinals, although I kind of like it this week. But then 2 weeks ago, they played the Seahawks, and they really were a no-show for like 3 quarters, and then they came back, and I don't think much of the Seahawks at all. So
There we
give
go.
me the Browns over a field goal in the spot if Joe Flacco starts, and I fully expect it to happen.
I love it. Well, you mentioned the Cardinals. I am on the Cardinals on the spread
Oh.
plus 5.5. Oh, the Steelers got over 400 yards. Oh, they're better without Matt Canada. No, they got one good game. This is the game where they were finally free of their offensive coordinator. The Cardinals now come in. Kyler Murray's had 3 games to kind of get his feet under him and get used to the NFL speed after being injured. We're fading the hype around the Steelers. We're buying the Cardinals at what could be a pretty good price. I hope it gets to plus 6. And Kyler Murray, the weird stat I found, he's better on the road than he is at home by a lot. He is 15-3.
He doesn't bring his
13.
Xbox.
He doesn't. No, he gets the focus at the team hotel. 15-13 on the road. At home, he's 11-20. So Kyler Murray on the road,
Funny.
a different animal, playing a team that everyone's overhyped about. Oh, 400 yards. No, Cardinals plus 5, plus 6. Kind of like him on the money line as well. Colby.
I'm taking the Patriots team total under at 17.5. The Patriots
Ooh.
are lifeless. This is a team that could be taking the number 1 overall pick away from the Bears. Patriots have scored
Hope not.
under this number in 5 of their last 6 games. They have scored under 10 points in 2 straight games. They are 31st in points per game at 13.5. Hammer
Wow.
it.
Look at
Under.
that. All right, we are going to take a break and get dressed up.
Oh.
We have our underdogs. We have our best bets. That's all coming up next on Stadium Bets. Welcome back to Stadium Bets. It's our favorite block of the show. We dress up, we look very stupid, and we give our underdogs and best
I think
bets.
I
So
look
let's start
good.
with our underdogs of the weekend. You do.
Thank
Good.
you.
The hairstyle, I love it, and I think people should love it as well. Underdogs of the week. Colby, give the bets that you like for underdog of the week because I'm telling
Other
you.
things that look great. Alabama beating
Sure.
Georgia. I love chaos. You love chaos. I root for chaos every single day of my life.
Everyone does.
This is the perfect game for Georgia to get upset and embarrassed by Crimson Tide. Man, I know you have other thoughts. Totally
I
didn't.
100% agree. I like it. That's a nice little hair swoop. I think Nick Saban and his team been preparing all week for
True.
this game,
All year.
season for this game, to be honest. And all the underdogs that were an option, Alabama seemed the likeliest to win. So I'll take them. Nate?
Let's stay with the Alabama theme and take a quarterback who led the Crimson Tide over Georgia in this very game 2 years ago. Bryce Young, not so
Yeah.
good in Carolina. The NFL hasn't been great. They fire Frank Reich after 11 games, but now they're catching 5.5, 5 in Tampa Bay. The Bucs aren't a good enough team to be laying that many points. Maybe the first game after firing the head coach gives Carolina a bump, and I think they're live to win outright.
All right, let's go to our best bets. And Nate's wearing the cone of shame, the hat to caution people to stay away. A little cold on the best bets, but what do you like this weekend?
Yeah, moved into last place, so it's disappointing, but
It happens.
let's just go.
I
and-
was there, and it's not fun.
And let's lay it with Michigan, minus 22.5.
He's taking the points.
This is a rematch from 2 years ago, and it's a much worse Iowa team, and it's a much better Michigan team. So before Monty says anything about how it was a close game for 30 minutes 2 years ago,
He's
it's a
giving
little
you
bit
thumbs up.
different of a situation. So Iowa did win 10 games, but they were last in
Love it.
total offense per game,
Yeah.
or yards per game. And it's because they were playing a lot of bad teams in the Big Ten West and bad weather. Well, now you have a huge step up in class against Michigan, indoors in perfect weather. I think Michigan scores 5 touchdowns by themselves to go over the total.
I love it.
And because of that, they're going to cover the 22.5. So go Michigan.
I'm on board with that one. Let's go to the Big 12 championship. Texas, not to cover, not to win. Team total over 34.5. Oklahoma State, bad defense. They're 96th in points per play allowed over the last 3, 92nd in points per game allowed over the last 3. Texas is averaging 37 points a game over the last 3. It matches up perfectly. Texas is trying to get into the college football playoff. They're going to be scoring a lot of points. Over 34.5. Finish us out.
Taking a little parlay. We're taking Troy money
it.
line and Liberty money line. Troy's going up against Appalachian State, who's been red hot, and I think it's time for them to cool off a little bit. That upset over JMU at game day, whatever. Troy has something that I love it. They have defense. They're
Yes.
10th in scoring D. They're 14th in rush D. 15th in third down defense and 7th in sacks. Oh. And then you
Love
got
it.
Liberty. We talked
Well.
about Liberty. Their offense is too explosive. Pew, 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 pew. New Mexico State's not going to be able to hold it. They're going to be explosive. They're going to win. Give me this little parlay. It's the first one since Monty's little Iowa bets.
Yeah, you're excited. We're excited. We hope you're excited. Good luck to everybody this weekend. We'll see you next week.